Hey everybody, welcome to the Fire It Up with CJ show. I'm CJ Liu, and today you can find us today and every day on Facebook on our Fire It Up with CJ Facebook page, YouTube, and also on the www.firedupwithcj.com website. So today we have medium and author Sharon Anne Klingler, and we are going to be talking about her book, Power of Words, Igniting Your Life with Lightning Force. And we're going to be talking about a small chapter in her book, but I also thought one of kind of a fun one because I think whether we're conscious or not, we're always kind of praying. Oh Lord, please, please let me do well on this test. Oh Lord, please give me the courage to face what I have to face. And we do, I think, at least I do a lot, even when I'm not even recognizing that I'm doing it. And I thought it'd be fun for Sharon to give us some tips. If we're going to be praying, how can we kind of juice up and power up our prayers? So welcome.
Thank you very much, CJ. I'm very, very happy to be with you today.
Me too. So, prayers of strength, that seems to be one of the most popular ones that people want, which I assume when they say that they want a prayer of strength, it's during a time of hardship when they're like, oh gosh, I need to endure or I need to have the confidence or courage to move forward. What's a good prayer of strength?
Well, actually, the first thing that we need to do is start to recognize we have to shift our words. I feel that almost every word is a prayer, but we
Mm,
can say actual prayers that trigger us to experience strength. And instead of doing affirmations, I like to keep it short throughout the day. You can use it several times then. And instead, yes, there's certainly wonderful prayers. Lord, give me strength in this with this person, or Lord, give me strength in this situation. Or I call upon the angels, perhaps even the Archangel Michael, which is the archangel of strength and courage and power.
mhm.
So you could even do that. I would invoke, if there were times where I would feel a great need for strength, I would invoke the Archangel Michael and say, Lord, send the Archangel Michael, or Archangel Michael, come to me and share with me your power and strength
Mm,
right now.
mhm.
But then throughout the day, I would give myself the declaration or the command words, strength now. And just after I've anchored that prayer in the morning, perhaps, I would, every time I would say strength now throughout the day, I'd immediately feel the Archangel Michael next to me and sharing that power, that courage, that strength with me. So you kind of set the scene by creating the invocation. And
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be to Michael. There's lots of higher guides, archangels, your own family guides, that type of thing. But he certainly would be the typical one for courage and strength and power and initiative too, although you
Mm,
could use the Archangel Uriel for initiative. But once you set that up, then create a deep meaning of experience where you breathe in the command, strength now, and you feel yourself. And it's almost like commanding you to tap your strength now. And since you're commanding you to tap your strength now, it happens. And you can do that virtually hundreds of times throughout your day, anytime you feel weakened or vulnerable or a lack of confidence or anything like that.
Okay, so the first thing you said is that you need to set yourself up, and you gave the example of kind of a longer type of thing, like Archangel Michael or Uriel or whatever the angel is that of your choice, but
That's right.
that you go ahead and say that's the setup. Is that what you meant by
Yeah,
the
that's
first
the
set?
invocation.
That's the
When you're
invocation.
invoking the powers from the angels and from the universe, you can invoke the powers of the universe too. But,
Hmm.
the Native Americans called on the power of the sun, the power of the moon, the power of the earth, and so there's a number of those different types in my
Hmm.
book as well.
Hmm.
But I would, for certainly strength and courage and power, I would call I personally really like to invoke
Hmm.
the Archangel Michael.
And do you
And
do that in
so
the
you set
morning?
that up. Yes.
Okay, so first thing in the morning, you're like, okay, I'm invoking. And so invoking is bringing forth the energies of Michael, the sun, whatever
Right.
is your brings. And I assume that that's whatever for you registers personally as
Right.
as an invoking to something that matters to you. So if Archangel Michael doesn't matter to you, then maybe that's not what you should bring up, right?
Absolutely not. Yes, that's right. And I teach that with power words. If there's a
Hmm.
power word that has no meaning for you, or indeed for some because of some history in your own personal life, might even have a negative meaning for you, absolutely don't use that.
Hmm.
You invoke the archangel or the individual or even your just higher self, because
Hmm.
there's no greater source of strength than your eternal
Mm.
self too. And you can invoke that part of you and approach and come near and share your power, courage, and strength with me now.
Ah, okay. So
This
that's an invocation, and the prayer would be not like a long, drawn out, like
right.
Lord, blah 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 blah. It would be strength now. And then when you're doing that, what is it? So let's actually pick up a hypothetical situation. So let's
Okay.
say, like a girlfriend of mine recently has had, her mother was in the hospital, her cat was very, very ill. She was getting all these clients. She was just trying to get it to hang all together. So how would she use this? So she would do an invocation in the morning,
Morning, right.
and
And
then,
and she probably also needs some focus. So one of the things that again, I like to use words as command words, power words,
mhm.
help us because we can use them more throughout the day than an affirmation. With
Mhm.
affirmations, we have to remember to say them. We have to remember them to say them and
Right.
remember to say them.
Yes.
But if we have a single word, but one of the things that we have to do that's so imperative with power words and all words to make them power words is to take a deep breath and pull them inside you, and if you just
Okay.
take a moment now and close your eyes and take a deep breath and pull the word strength inside you and feel the vibration of strength. Feel strength, fill your arms, your legs, your face, your back. Open your eyes and just notice how strong you feel as you do that.
Mhm.
And so you give yourself the command strength now, and you take a moment to pull the word and the vibration and energy of the word inside you and feel yourself fill up with it. That's what I would recommend.
Okay, and in that particular process, you were taking a deep breath, and I'm thinking in my head, strength now, or do you also say it as well? So you're feeling it kinesthetically, and then you're
You
feeling
don't
it.
you don't have to say it out loud.
Okay.
But you do feel when you take a deep breath, you pull the whole word all the way inside your body. It's not just a head thing, it's a feeling thing. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, when I
So
do it, I feel kind of a tingling in my heart. I don't
right,
I don't feel it in my arms or anything. I know you said the command was to feel it in my arms, but
right,
I do feel an energy rushing into my body when I say
right.
strength now.
And everyone will feel it differently as long as you have an understanding that bringing the word and its energy into you actually makes it applies its power to your experience,
Mm,
however it is that you experience it.
yeah.
So
Yeah, so then I would do that strength now. I would do it. I mean, how many times would you repeat it during a day? Like every hour?
whenever you felt vulnerable,
Ah, okay, got it. So
whenever
it's a
you
way
felt
to shorten things
vulnerable,
up.
you just pull in strength now. And you just make it brings strength into the immediate moment when you can add the word now to anything.
Right,
Now is a big power word for me. For
right.
instance, if you have a forgiveness thing, and if your friend meets up with anybody meets up with anybody that's problematic or that they have a history with,
Hmm.
and you want to create forgiveness in the moment, you can bring in the word forgiveness and the command forgive now, and
Hmm.
just hold that. Even if you still feel angry, you
Right.
could still feel angry,
Yeah.
but just pull forgiveness in as a part of your reality in that moment. And again, you have to do it when it hits. That's the problem, the challenge, let's say,
Hmm.
not problem, but challenge with affirmations, because people do affirmations in the morning. Maybe they'll do it at lunchtime. Maybe they'll do it before they go to bed. But then they have all the regular stream of thoughts that used to be the old way of thinking.
Hmm.
The negative thoughts or the dismissal of self, or however it is that you want to put it. And so we have to shift those through the day. And
Mm.
we can do that just by replacing a negative word with a powerful word.
Ah, okay, got it. So saying strength now is definitely off and helpful. And if you feel kind of a certain kind of weakness, it's good to use it then. But then you're saying being conscious of your words throughout the whole day because we were talking earlier and I was talking about expletives. So I read your book. I read your book, Power Words, and embarrassingly, one of my things that I've been conscious of my words as a result of reading your book, and I realize that sadly, I use the word jerk a lot, and I use a lot of expletives in my speaking because it just is so energetic. And what you were saying to me is that if I were to muscle test myself, which I do, which is a way for gauging the energy level in your body, if
Right.
you're to actually gauge the energy level of your body when you're saying these expletives or negative words, it's actually draining the energy from your body.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. That's a hard thing to do. I'm an old hippie,
yeah,
so so the litany of swear words is natural for me,
yeah,
and it still happens. But I'm really trying because I have muscle tested frequently with various of the words,
yeah.
and so I change the F word to flip, and I say it just as strongly. And then when I hear myself say it, it reminds me, wait, I can flip this situation around. It actually is a command to see it anew or do something different or feel about it in a different way.
Okay, so if someone's being an a jerk or the A word with the hole after it, what's the word that you use to supplant that one?
Um, God bless you.
Oh, come on! You're way more conscious than I am. God bless you for cutting me off. You God bless person. Is that kind of how it goes in your car?
No, I actually do get. I'm a very impatient driver. I have
Yeah,
to say, I'm an A type driver,
yeah.
and I'm impatient. So I'll say, "Oh God," or whatever. Um, but do try to remember patience. Thank you for teaching me patience. Thank you for giving me this moment of inner reflection. Thank you. God bless you. I also say God bless you to people who like impatient serving people or that type of
Yeah.
thing. I actually had one salesman at Radio Shack or
Uh-huh.
some such place when I said God bless you because he was being short with me, and he said I don't believe in God.
Oh no! Then you said, "Oh, flip you."
Well, God bless you anyway.
God bless you, anyways. I have this vision of you like taking your window, rolling it down, and it's like, bless you! Rolling it back up. Just thinking that would be hysterically funny. Okay, but I like it. I like it. It's because all those things actually drain you of energy.
They do.
I get that, and the whole idea. Every person who works with energy is always talking about how I and it's about fill yourself with light, fill yourself with love, la 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 la, unicorns and puppies. But here's the thing that I do, which that stuff kind of that's hard for me. But what I do believe is that if your energy is lifted, you just feel better, you feel good, you're able to take on life's hardships when they do arrive because you're just filled up more with energy.
Right. And
So
as a matter of fact, you just used two of my favorite power words, which is lift and up.
ah
And whenever I feel like I'm low in energy or low in emotions or depressed or something, I just take a deep breath and fill myself with the word lift and really feel that vibration and energy. And you actually start to sit up taller and your
yes,
emotions get lifted. And I use the word up frequently throughout my day, just when I want to get up,
yeah,
I up just, you can live up, but
yeah.
just by bringing it into you.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's really powerful. So and I actually, we're talking about power words, igniting your life with lightning force. And in fact, I think that's one of the very first examples that you gave in the book. And that really did lift my energy. I just said lift, or
Right.
maybe it was lighten or lift or one of those things. And just
Both
that,
those.
that command just whoop, like it just lifts your energy. It was
Right.
pretty powerful. But what happens when, so my girlfriend, her mother just died. She's probably not feeling like she's full of light and lift, puppies and
Yeah.
unicorn energy.
Yeah.
So when because some of the things is just accepting that you're sad right now and it's
Yeah.
okay. So,
Really, it's very important. My degree's in psychology and my background is in psychology as well. I worked in a psych practice for 10 years. But it's very important not to invalidate your negative feelings.
mhm,
Okay. If we invalidate our negative feelings, we'll either just try to repress them or we'll add another negative negative feeling, making us wrong for having them. So
Yeah.
we'll have a negative feeling, then we'll have another negative one about being wrong for having them.
Right.
And certainly in any kind of grieving process, grief has got to be given its head. You have to cry, you have to journal, you have to give yourself those moments. And indeed, if it's fresh, days and weeks where you're feeling this dejection. But I really do think that anyone who loses somebody when they're, who goes to spirit, you can actually start to meditate and create a renewed relationship with them from their spirit to your spirit, and you
Yeah.
can start to reconnect through your meditation, through spirit communication, which, by the way, is not some kind of gift only a strange few people are born with. Everybody can talk to spirit because everybody is spirit, And so yes, it's like playing the piano. You have to learn some of the techniques, but it's meditation is one of the first ways. And that's what I would support her most in doing, is re-establishing her relationship with her mom in that way.
Yes, and she's a medium, so she's got that down.
There you
She's
go.
talking to her mother every day lately. But
You know what? I lost my husband and I'm a medium, and being a medium doesn't mean you don't miss them.
I know. That's because I said you can talk to her every day.
Right.
And she said, "I know, but I still miss her physical presence."
Right.
So,
No, absolutely.
yeah.
The hug, the holding, the
Oh
touch, the
no.
smell, everything. But she has to, grief is an important thing. It's those mediums who say you're grieving too much, you're keeping them stuck. I just want to get a gun.
And bless them. Bless them. Here's my gun. Bless you.
Bless them with my gun.
So whether it's grieving or anger, I mean, all of these are kind of natural. I think emotions really inform us on what's going on the inside, and when there's an imbalance of what's feeling on the inside and outside. So these invocations or prayers, they're not meant to invalidate those things, or because I can see being like angry and being, I'm really angry. Someone just cut me off. I'm like, love, love, which, you're it's this kind of punitive love. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? So so that was the only thing I was thinking about your book. Like, how do you really accept and be with what's coming and emotionally real for you, and at the same time, use these words to move you someplace else, or do you?
Right. Well, you have your immediate response of anger, and that's valid. And
Yeah.
you say, okay, I recognize I'm really angry
Yeah.
because this person just cut me off.
Yeah.
And I'm going to switch that from my personal perspective right now to an eternal perspective where time doesn't matter anyway. And I'm going to say, bless you. And thank you for the opportunity to learn patience.
How long does it take you to get there, though?
First response, and give ear to the first response, and then flip it around. And the reason is not because you are doing harm to that other person for being angry, but if you sit and stew or don't flip it, you're in your negative space and you're in your lower energy.
Right.
If you understand. So you're flipping it for two reasons. First of all, detachment is where we go to release suffering. The Buddha says all suffering comes from attachment. You were really attached to getting in that lane. Or you wouldn't have been that ticked off.
Exactly.
And so we can, just see a little Buddha in front of us and say, wow.
Let it go.
That wasn't a real big attachment.
Right.
And aren't I silly for making an attachment about getting in that lane?
Right.
Maybe I should attach to my joy more instead.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I can just see, though, people using this as a punitive thing, and that was the only thing, even myself included. But I think that it's in measure, right? Feel what is authentically coming up, and then know that is actually tanking your energy and not helping you in any way. So when it's appropriate and you've expressed whatever needs to be expressed, then use these words to lift you.
Absolutely. As wonderful as The Secret was in getting people to understand New Thought and that type of thing in the mainstream life, there was a misconception about how everything you think and every negative thing you think creates this negative experience. And everything you have, every emotion you have that's responsive to any experience in your life is valid.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, a lot of people invalidate it because, quote, it's not good. It's
Yeah.
not, it's not the little warm puppies.
Right.
Well, no, screw the little warm puppies. When you're mad, yourself, be mad.
Did you mean scrub the little warm puppies or to screw the little? Because I think I heard you say screw the little warm puppies.
Well, God bless. God bless. But when you're mad, it's valid.
Yeah, yeah.
The only thing that's problematic is, even though it's valid, if you start living in the anger, if you start creating endless loops.
Yeah.
My dad did this to me. My dad did this to me. My dad did this to me. My husband did this to me. And my husband did this to me. If you start creating anger and victimization and endless loops,
Yes.
that's reliving the moment.
Ah.
That's not living the moment. That's reliving.
That's a really good point. And actually, in your book, Power Words: Igniting Your Life with Lightning Force, you have a really good example of a gal who was really negative, and that she just started being conscious a little bit, and then it didn't really work. And you're like, no, you have to do this with every interaction. And I like the ideas, like you wrote down the idea that she had, the negative word, and then she wrote down a replacement for that word, and then slowly she replaced her whole vocabulary. I love that.
Yeah, if we were to take a little notebook with us and make a little tick mark, you know how you make four little, then a line through it.
Yeah.
Every single time, for most of us, if we were to do that, every single time we had a negative thought about our life, our worlds, and ourselves, we could go to bed at the end of the day and probably find 200 tick marks. I'm serious. It's really true. It's amazing how, oh, I'm so dumb, or why did I do that, or this person really doesn't like me. Even that is a reflection of a negative thinking about ourselves, because we're putting other people's responses to us and validating them more than our own, So we really have to catch those little moments.
Yeah.
Because those are endless loops. Those are things that we've done for years and years and years and years.
Yeah. So if you start counting, like, I'm so fat, which I think I've probably thought, or like, I can't seem to lose weight. I think I've had that on a recurring loop. No one has hit the stop button on that for like the last couple of years, I would say. Like, you need to lose weight.
Since you're 14.
What?
Since you're 14.
Yeah, well, I guess, and that's actually really helpful to just recognize that that's like it's hitting the play button, and you have not stopped the play button until you stop that play button and say, I am with the weight that I am, but, or healthy eating. I guess what you're saying is distill it down to one word, nutrition.
One word, or even a phrase.
Yeah.
Healthy eating every day, or eating healthy now, or living healthy now, whatever it is that you want, some kind of declaration.
Okay, so yesterday I was thinking about, because in your book you talk about that, and there was this chocolate peanut butter chip cookie on our counter that I don't know why it wasn't eaten, but it was just sitting there torturing me. And then I know that one of the things that you suggest is you look and you say, resist. So I looked and I was like, resist. And then I walked away. And then I went back later on 2 hours, and I forgot the word, and there was a chocolate peanut butter cookie down into the gullet, in probably 2 seconds or less. So it's a process, right? It takes time. So don't expect. Even after reading this book, you have to work at it.
Yeah, no, I wrote the book, and there are days where I forget to use this power word that I've anchored in the morning, or that power word that I'm trying to use this week, or, then the trigger words, you can use specific words to help trigger certain actions. And I try to use those as well, and then I forget to use those,
What are some trigger words? Tell us what that idea is.
One of my favorite trigger words is the word action, like a director says. Like, if you're working on a writing project, or you're even paying your bills, or planning, and you're planning something, and you're just looking at your papers, and your mind starts to wander, or you just get lethargic, and you just take your deep breath and close your eyes and bring in the word action, and you almost hear a director saying it to you. And it's really funny, because you just like start to go into action. Now, sometimes if you're really distracted by some other things that are happening, you might have to say it 2 or 3 times, but that triggers you back into the action that you were taking.
Yeah. That it
So,
did work for me too, because I was getting really sleepy because I was reading your book on Sunday and I think I had maybe 4 hours of sleep. I didn't sleep well that night, and so I was reading it and I'm not sure why, but I decided to read it in bed, which is a problem. So I'd read it and I'd start getting sleepy, and then I read, and it was almost like it was perfectly timed because then you'd say action. I was like, action. It's like, and it did work. It really did work. Those are trigger words. They're words to kind of. So what's the difference between they're words to provoke an action? Is that what a trigger word is?
no, yes, it actually ignites or triggers a certain response for you. But may I suggest when you're sleepy
Yes.
and you haven't been getting sleep, you say the word sleep.
Then I could say, sorry, I haven't finished reading your book. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Would you have been happy then? I don't know. Maybe I would have been okay. All right. So, other prayer. So the other prayer that folks, or maybe an invocation, or is for people who are ill. I often see in Facebook, my grandmother is sick. Please pray for her. And then I'll say blessings. Like I don't really know what to do to effectively pray for another person. I'm not very religious. I don't feel like, oh God, please say, like I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah.
So what's kind of a non-religious or non-denomination? Like what can I say if I want someone's ill in the hospital, or I'm sick myself, or my husband's sick? What could I say?
There is actually in the book, there's a whole chapter of
Mm-hmm.
healing prayers. There's one that is a spiritualist prayer that I actually can't bring to mind at this moment in time. But I love that one. But my favorite one is there's a brief Jewish invocation.
Mm-hmm.
The book has both the Hebrew and the English, and
Mm-hmm.
it just is, Dear God, bring healing now. That
Mm.
is an invocation of the higher power, and it is a call for healing, again, bringing the immediate word now to
Mm.
the action. So
Bring
it's dear
healing
God,
now.
yeah, God, bring healing now,
Mm.
and that's actually one of my total best favorite
And you
ones.
said the
Next,
spiritualist prayer, right? I have it. The
oh,
spiritualist prayer
yes, the spiritualist
says,
prayer.
I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust and love in the power of God. So what does this do?
That helps. That helps. That again invokes the energy of healing.
Mm,
And when you're talking about your own healing, and it says, "And I will do my part," that is an important part for us. One of the things that I talk about in the chapter on prayers, general prayers, is that sometimes we don't even use prayers until we need something,
mm-hmm.
which is another word I try to take out of my vocabulary. Need is a terrible, terrible, terrible word.
Yes.
We want to have an invocation not of just the other forces around us, the great unseen healing force, or God, as it is, dear God, bring healing now, but also to invoke our own awareness, our own powers in our healing. And I will do my part, which means if I have diabetes, I'm going to stop eating bread. If I have a
Right.
heart condition, I'm not going to eat, cows.
Right.
you know, or I will, if I have a lot of stress, or even if I don't have stress, I will commit to healing meditations.
Right.
I will do my parts, a big word in a big declaration in healing.
Right.
So,
So this would
so it
be something
combines
that
other forces in your own.
this would be something that you'd say for your own healing. And
Right.
then if let's say I had a relative or that was sick, I would say I ask the great unforeseen forces to remove all obstructions from my loved one's mind and body. Is that how I'd
Yes,
augment
you would
this?
just insert. Yes, and there's a couple of other prayers. I think there's a prayer and see, you read it when you couldn't sleep, and you're more prepared than I. Don't even have the book with me.
Okay.
But there's another prayer in there that asks Saint Raphael for healing. He's the
Yes.
archangel.
Do you want to hear it? It
Yeah,
says
yeah.
Archangel Raphael.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Raphael, whatever.
Raphael, send your healing to X person and bring a full recovery to him or her. Angel of health, we trust you and rest in the confidence of your aid. Amen. So this
Yeah.
is someone that, so if someone says, please pray for my grandma, she's not doing well in the hospital, I could say, Archangel Raphael or Raphael, whatever, send
Mm.
your healing to, so and
Yeah.
so's grandmother and bring a full recovery to her. Angel of health, we trust in you and rest in the confidence of your aid. Amen.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So one of the things that you say in here too about prayer is letting go of the outcome, which I think is really important too.
It is. It is. It goes all back to that attachment thing,
Mm-hmm.
when we are only praying for an outcome, or when we pray for it when because we're attached to an outcome, the attachment to an outcome, whether it's praying for healing or praying for my relationship to be healed, or praying to find a lover or husband, or praying to get pregnant for our baby or whatever have you, if we pray too urgently, that actually, I said what I said about the word need before. That actually says, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. And the undercurrent to that is, I don't believe this. I don't
Mm,
trust this is going to happen. I don't think. I'm not certain about this. And not only am I not certain about it, I'm so urgent about it that I actually think it's not going to happen. I
mm,
mean, think about it. How many of us do pray every night that the sun rise tomorrow?
right,
Nobody,
right.
because we trust it's going to happen, right?
Mm,
So when we have to create a belief, a trust in the truth of the outcome and the reality of that outcome, rather than the impossibility. And when there's a lot of need and a lot of urgency, there's an undercurrent of, I don't know, maybe it's impossible, you know?
right. Okay, so I'm like, please bring me, it's Valentine's Day. Please bring me the man of my dreams.
Right.
Um, and it's this kind of desperation that, may go, when I was at that point, probably miles away, and I was like,
Right.
please bring this
Yeah.
guy, Prince Charming. So when that happens, it's funny because there's some modes that would say when that happens, when that desperation is so great, it's like sends out this energetic kind of footprint that's not so positive, and people will come in, all sorts of spirits will come in to fulfill that, even though they're not going to fulfill that, just because they know that there's such a desperate kind of sad outlook. That's what someone told me once.
Well, when you have an urgency about love,
Hmm.
it's because you're not feeling it in your life. You're looking for the sense of love and the well-being that you get from love externally.
Hmm.
Okay, and so what an urgency or high level of need for love in your life reflects is a lack of love internally. and
Hmm.
and the eternal source of love is that divine soul inside us.
Hmm.
Okay, so what you're saying when as I need love, I need love, I need love means I don't have love. I'm empty, I'm empty, I'm empty. So that sign goes out into your aura and to the universe. And what you call, you call the empties. You
Ah,
They're empties
right.
who are incapable of giving to you because they don't feel it themselves.
Oh,
Do will mirror your truth of emptiness. And
oh,
so your relationship will be one of lack because your call was one of lack.
yeah.
When you have this, that when our first relationship is with our divine spirit and
Hmm.
we feel the power and the love and the support of that, and we wake up with that love and fulfillment, that goes into our aura. And that
Hmm.
attracts to us other people who are totally full of love and who
Hmm.
in whom it spills over
Hmm.
and into our lives.
Hmm.
So that's if we put urgency into love, it means we're empty. And
Right.
if we give the message we're empty, then we're giving the message we call empty people to us.
Yeah, so it's kind of, so when you are praying, it's not kind of having this desperation and like, please, Lord, because it's, I think it kind of projects this lack of faith. But then
Right.
I thought also the other point that you're making in your book is that in some ways it's helpful to rest in whatever the outcome. Like you may be praying for your grandmother to stay alive, and really your grandmother wants to pass. So you're kind of,
Right.
both of you are at odds with what you both want to have happen, and basically neither of you has control, frankly, anyways, because there's a greater will that's happening. So I
That's right.
thought that
And
that.
even even in the situation of love. For instance,
Yeah.
if you just met a guy and you're praying and praying and praying for this guy to come forward, and he maybe, he comes together shortly, or you break up, or he doesn't come over, and you don't know that, and you're all in grief because it didn't happen. And it might not, it's not supposed to happen because you might have made a contract to meet somebody else next year,
Yeah.
and
Check your calendar. You have a date already set up. So it's not right. There's a higher power. You'll actually, that other person may even be better than this other person. If you start hooking up with this person, that person's not going to arrive. And boom,
right, exactly.
missed
And
your contract.
and there's always an opportunity. I really do feel that whenever we don't get something, it's an opportunity for us to learn. Uh, we need to get some detachment here. We need to
Hmm.
get, I'm defining my well-being through this thing outside me rather than through right here.
Right.
Like just like you were defining your well-being through getting in that lane.
Right. Yeah. So it's basically when you're praying, some kind of rules of thumb. Don't get super desperate because that gives a sense of lack of faith. Two,
Right.
be open to whatever outcome comes. So if it doesn't come immediately, like if your prayers aren't answered, because some people will say, if you exist, God, please, bring a man to me in 2 weeks or less. Or something. They provide deadlines. Right? Probably not super helpful either because you're not versus saying if you do a higher level thing saying I want an enduring sense of love. Maybe
Right.
something else will come like a puppy in your life, something else.
Right. And changing the word need and even want to receive.
I want to
I
receive.
receive, I receive an enduring sense of love. I receive
Mm,
love every day. And actually, when you say that, take a moment to feel yourself being filled with the love of your own higher self, or
mm-hmm.
even from the divine spirit, the God of your understanding. I receive love every day. I receive love every day. I receive love every day. You say that to yourself several times a day. It's going to take a while. If you have gone for years with feeling as if your well-being was pinned on somebody else's response to you, but if you do that several times a day, you're
Yeah.
going to be amazed at how full you start to feel, and how
Mm,
you start to attract people who receive love themselves and also are more capable of giving love.
I love it. Okay. Next question, and I'm calling out to the folks in chat because I'm sure you have tons and tons of questions. So I only have one more question. Another one that seems to be popular are prayers for peace. And nowadays, my gosh, we need it. We have so much going on with the Ebola crises. We have all sorts of things going on in Hong Kong, Ukraine. I mean, everywhere. And I think either we have two expressions of it, either our own agitation internally or a sense of, oh gosh, those poor people, what can I do here when I'm in the United States when someone else, is suffering? What would be a nice prayer for peace?
I really like the one that the children in Northern Ireland but I kind of switch it up a little bit, and I will say peace in the nation, peace in the world, peace in the city, peace in my heart.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
and just because we can't expect the world to have peace if we can't create it here.
Hmm.
And also, you can also add peace in my family, peace in my home, or, peace in the world, peace in the nation, peace in my family, peace in my heart,
Hmm.
that kind of thing. And
Hmm.
again, it's more of an invocation than it is just, I desire this, I wish this, can somebody give it to me? It's
Mm.
actually calling on the vibration and the resonance of peace within you and without you, and calling on it to experience it,
Mm.
and for you to experience it too.
Okay, that's fantastic, and I love the difference between the prayers and peace, all those things. So I'm going to check and see what kind of questions we have in the chat room. Let's see. Okay, oops, oops. We don't have any yet. I assume that Rebel is getting those from the folks that are listening right now. So I'm just going to continue asking some questions.
Okay.
Yay! I get to actually keep on asking you questions. I love that. Okay, so I want to get a sense. When I read your book, I got the sense that your whole day was filled with words. But I don't know if that was when you're writing this book, or if generally like you wake up and you say, because there is a word for everything from making your bed to taking a shower to I
Yeah.
think even brushing your teeth to eating. And I just thought, what is this woman's life like? And she's just making these like, stop now, eat fresh, like it's just trying to figure out what it's like living in your world.
Well, you know what? I have to say that there are times when, lots of times, where I just go through my daily routine and don't use the power words, for several hours at a time. But I do try to sit down and bring them into my consciousness throughout my day. And
Hmm.
yes, there are, for instance, I love the making the bed thing because, and it's really just that's another little prayer is, just wonderful, restful, restorative sleep in this bed every night on always.
Hmm.
And instead of making your bed, and thinking, oh crap, I forgot to call so and so yesterday,
Right.
or so and so didn't call me, and that kind of thing. You're actually putting something that you do, which is a ritual. We create rituals in our life every day,
Hmm.
and we have rituals every day. Anything we do more than once or on a regular basis is a ritual, and those rituals have power.
Hmm.
And because those rituals have power, we can bring grace and glorified power to those moments by bringing the special words to them.
Certainly would make bed making way more fun. Okay, here are the questions. Now we have so many questions. I'm not sure if we'll get to all of them, but we'll try. So, can this work for anyone, or do you need a spiritual connection to do these prayers? I assume to do whether it's these prayers or these words.
It can work for anyone. You don't need a spiritual connection per se, to a conscious spiritual connection to your higher self or to your guides around you or to the angels. Though I would recommend that you do try to take a couple of minutes every day just talking to them a little bit. But it's just about being conscious of your words and using the words that fill your life and fill your energy with power and joy.
Hmm.
And absolutely anyone can do that.
Some people don't believe in angels or guides.
Yeah, some people don't.
So, what do they
Why
connect
will they
to?
be surprised?
Okay, so this was, I think, going back to when you're saying when you're feeling the energy. So, let's say it's action now. The person was asking, should we feel the energy coming into us? And I heard you say yes. I also imagine like this like word, action.
Yes, right. I really, that's right. Breathe it into you. That you made a perfect description of it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I feel. I bring it deep inside with an inhalation, so that the vibration and power of the word. The book Messages in Water.
Hmm.
Masaru
Yes.
Emoto's book, right? That was all about words. That was all about the difference that of the water crystals when they were given the word love and gratitude to
Yes.
hate and envy, or I
Yeah.
will kill you. The terrible difference in those ugly crystals and those beautiful crystals.
Yeah.
That's just about the words.
Yeah.
So if that will make a water crystal do that, what's it going to do to us,
Yeah.
especially when we use them over and over
And we're
and
made of
years?
water, right? Like
Yeah,
97% water. So,
yeah, yeah.
okay. So it said, should we dismiss the negative? And I think the answer was no. Don't dismiss the negative so much as recognize it, feel it, but then do something afterwards to shift the energy. Is that a
Right.
good summation of what you
That's
said?
exactly a good
Okay.
summation, because when we have a negative response, we want to know what motivated that.
Mm-hmm.
We want to know, okay, why did I feel that way why did I get into my ego when my friend didn't call me and they should have called me, they went to coffee, they forgot to call me, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And don't say, oh, I'm not allowed to feel that. Shove that down, shove that down. That'll just make you sick.
Mm-hmm.
Recognize it and say, okay, yes, I'm feeling injured. It's okay for me to feel injured. And now I'm going to talk to them, and not blamefully, but just tell them, guys, next time we go for coffee, give me a call, because I really want to be a part of this too. And just shift out. If we shove down our negative feelings, we won't build a consciousness to be able to understand our inner motivations. And that all comes from our history.
Yeah.
And we have to know our history to make our future.
Yeah. That's when the peanut butter cookie arises. For me, that's the compensation. If I don't express these, maybe if I just express it through eating as peanut butter cookie, Then I don't have to deal with it. But no, that also does not work. Okay, so
Instead of using the word resist, you can also use the word half. And half of the
oh no,
cookie.
that's really good.
You just take half of the cookie.
Yes, that's really good. That's the middle path. Half of the cookie, half of
Right.
the dinner, half.
And you can play a little word game and start with the word half and change it to half. So you can feel yourself giving
Mm.
yourself a cookie, but not the whole thing. And you
Oh,
did a good job and you gave yourself a little treat.
I like that. That's a clever thing. Clever girl. I like it. Okay. What if you pray all the time and nothing comes of it? It's a really good question.
If you're praying all the time for something, a specific outcome for something, and nothing comes of it, one of excuse me, one of two things can be happening. First of all, you've created an attachment to something with that undercurrent of not believing it's going to happen.
Okay.
And if you don't believe it's going to happen, and you that there's sabotaging energy in your life. You can pray till the cows come home. And for instance, if you're praying for a new job, a lot of people are out of work. I get lots of calls on, when I do radio shows, when we're
Yeah.
doing call-ins and stuff like that. And it's, I pray for a job, I pray for a job, I pray for a job, and I just my life just sucks, and I'm just so empty and lonely, and I have no one, and I have no support, and I'm praying for a job all the time, and I'm not getting anything. But then I hear, my life sucks, I have no support, everything's empty, no one loves me. All those words are saying lack, 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 lack.
Mm-hmm.
And the prayer is saying, fill me with the job, fill me with the job, fill me with the job. You can't give the universe one message with prayer and another message with your thoughts and words that ramble throughout your whole day and move throughout your whole day. That will be the strongest prayer. Every
Mm.
word we have and every word we use, particularly about ourselves, is our prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there's no fulfillment of your prayers, then you need to take a look at what are the other words you're using throughout your day about your reality,
Mm-hmm.
because those words certainly could be against what you're praying for. They could be
Mm-hmm.
undermining everything you're praying for.
Okay, so let's use that particular example. Someone who's looking
Okay.
for a job and they're saying, please, or, they'd say, please give me a job that would feel rewarding and meaningful. Or I'm not sure. What would be or Archangel Uriel, please give me, what would you do?
Uriel's a good one. That's
Okay,
a
what
good
would you
one.
say in the morning? Give us a
And
little practice. What would you say in the
okay,
morning?
Uriel is the patron archangel of transformation. So if you want looking for a new job that transforms your experience of job, it would say Uriel approach and help me find, not find me. Help me
Mm,
find the job that will transform my life, because he's the archangel of transformation.
mm-hmm.
Transform my life for the better, transform my life for grace and good. And it's as simple as that.
Okay,
But then help me find, again, I will do my part. I
right.
will, look into the resumes that I need to send out, but that's not all it. I will also not say to myself sabotaging thoughts all day long that keep me from my transformation.
Okay, so let's say that I have okay, I do the invocation in the morning. Please, Uriel, help me find a job. Versus, so let's just break that down. Versus, please find a job for me. That's like Uriel, will you do the work for me? And what happens when I pray that way?
What happens when you pray that way is, first of all, you're just taking away your own power from yourself. You're
Okay.
not acknowledging the power you have to manifest your reality, which,
Uh,
by the way, even a jobless reality is the reality that you manage and manifest it, right?
okay, so you're
And
lacking a faith of yourself. So
right,
that's kind of like a depletion
not
of
telling,
energy.
yes, you're not telling the universe or yourself that you have the power to create this. And
Ah.
you might as well shoot yourself in the foot, spiritually and energetically speaking, because you can't tell the universe to do this for me when at the same time you're saying, I don't have the power to do it for myself, which means I don't have the power to do that job even. you know
Ah.
you can't, don't ever undermine your power. by giving anything to somebody else's response to you.
Right, right,
You
because
know,
you're now giving the power and responsibility to the saint.
right.
So someone asked, with related to that. So, do some of the saints come over issues that we pray for? So even though we don't, so in the case that you're talking about, we're invoking, please, Archangel. But in
Right.
some cases, if we say, if we don't invoke Archangel Raphael, will he come, or Uriel, would he come regardless if we're just praying, please help me? You're not specifying who.
Yes, yes, and indeed you can do that because there's a lot of other people than just the Archangel Uriel who wants to help you get a job.
Right.
For instance, your grandfather, if he was owned his own business, he would be the first person on board to try to, in spirit I'm talking about, to
Right.
try to help you get a job. So
Right.
you certainly can say Archangel Uriel and all the guides who around me, please support me and in helping me find this job.
Yeah. Okay. So, gosh, we have a couple more questions. Sadly, I'm sorry we couldn't answer all of them, but we have Sharon Anne Klingler, who has wrote the book Power Words: Igniting Your Life with Lightning Force. So, folks, make sure to get this book. Um, and thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
so much
much
again.
for being here. Thank you so much. That was fun.
It was great fun. You're a delight.
Thank you. And
I'll
for
never
folks,
cut you off in traffic.
or if you do, you can bless me while it happens. I wouldn't mind that. Okay, so and folks out there, thank you much for your great questions. I'm sorry we couldn't get to them all. Thank you, Rebel, and make sure to tune in next week when we talk to Edward Slinger Lafke. I don't know how to pronounce his name for his book on Try Not to Try. Thank you so much, Sharon.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you too.
It means so much to me that you're listening to the show and love your support in any way by giving me comments below or to subscribe to the show or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.